Hey guys, welcome back for part 2 of tips and tricks of things to pack. So this is just another selection of things that me and Alex packed to come to Australia. So if that is something you're interested in, if you want to get some ideas and inspiration, definitely continue watching this video and I really hope you enjoy. Okay, let's get right into it. So the first thing on the list is polarised sunglasses. So we're advised to get polarised sunglasses before coming to Australia, just because the UV is very high. And yes, they do break through the UV and they make your vision a lot clearer. So if you're out sightseeing, your vision will be a lot clearer to see whatever you are out and about seeing. Also, they help prevent damage your eyes. So you have got to think about your future of your eyes and make sure you don't damage or affect them. So we got ours from the UK in at Sunglasses Hut, so you can get them in your home country. Alternatively, if you don't want to spend a lot of money on designer sunglasses, you can get them in Australia in any chemist or pharmacy for about $10 a pair. So if you can't afford them or you don't want to get them in your home country, you can always grab them in Australia, but really do get some polarised sunglasses just because they help your eyesight and your vision and break through that UV a lot better, so definitely get those. So the next thing is a Sweatproof thin bum bag. So we got this from Amazon. Ours is a OD travel gear, a thin bum bag. This thing has come in very handy. It's sweat-proof because of the material here. So if you are out sightseeing or traveling for the day, then it won't affect anything inside the bum bag. I would recommend putting your passports in here if you do go out and leave your stuff in the hostel. It has 2 compartments and they are both they both got some like lining in them and they are very good. So with the thin ones, you can just put them under your top. So you just put them wrapped around basically your bare skin and then you just put your clothes on top and then they're completely hidden and everything's safe and sound. So nothing can be stolen once they're tucked away. So you can put your money and your passport and your bank stuff in there. So definitely recommend these bum bags. You don't have to get this one, but this is the one we got. I will link it down below. Next up, we got travel perfume atomizers. So I wouldn't recommend bringing a whole bottle of perfume out with you just because they are very heavy. However, it is nice when you go out, if you go out for the evening, to spritz yourself with something nice. So I went out to the fragrance shop and just bought 2 atomizers. They were doing a deal for 2. I just put my 2 favorite perfumes in either one and they last for a really long time. So they could just pop them in your rucksack and they're also travel size as well. So you can take them on a plane if you want. And I'll definitely recommend these ones, again linked below. So next is obviously sun cream. Don't worry about buying that in your home country. You can get that in Australia for a lot cheaper, so don't worry about that. And also insect repellent, don't really worry about that either because it is very expensive in most home countries and again very cheap in Australia. It's also, with them 2 things, they can become very heavy in your rucksack, so don't worry too much on them. You can always go out and just buy the travel ones just to have for the time being, but yeah, definitely get them in Australia because they're a lot cheaper and they won't be taking up too much room when you're flying. Next up, this is completely up to you. We got emergency ponchos. I think we bought a couple of these out and they have come in really handy. So if you are out and about, again, traveling or sightseeing, you just pop one in your rucksack, or 2 for me and Alex. And then if you do get stuck in a storm, and a lot of the east coast of Australia and around Australia can have tropical storms, so it won't act like it's going to rain, and next thing you know you get a massive downpour. So these things do come in really handy, and then you can either just wait and dry it off and fold it back up or throw it away after, but these are really great. Next up on the list is a pair of earplugs. I'd definitely recommend getting these if you are staying in hostels or dorm rooms, just because they can become very loud and noisy. So if you are trying to get a good night's sleep, pop a pair of these in and you're completely eliminated from any sounds. So these you can get in most places, most travel shops or pharmacies. You can pick them up quite cheap. So get a pair of earplugs. If not, most of the time they give you some on the plane, which is quite good. So yeah, get yourself a pair of these and they do come in very handy. Next is a neck pillow. So this is actually Alex's neck pillow. It's a nice memory foam one. But yes, when you are taking the plane to Australia, it is nice to have a neck pillow around your neck. Also, if you are taking any night buses or getting any long coaches or doing any long journeys, it is nice to have a neck pillow if you are wanting to get some rest. And also when you're staying in hostels, you only normally get 1 pillow, so that just gives you, if you are a 2 pillow person, which I am, this just comes in really handy as a second pillow. So this one you can get before or after you get to Australia, and that is an after bite pen. It would be handy if I had it the right way around. This little thing does come in really, really handy. So if you do get bitten by a mosquito, then just put a little bit of this on, and it does calm it down a lot, so it doesn't swell up and the pain is a lot less. It takes up no room in your bag, but I'll definitely put all the information for that down below. The next thing we got is a power bank. Now I would definitely recommend bringing a power bank with you, just because again, if you are doing a lot of long distance traveling on a bus or anything like that, then it's really, really handy to top up your phone battery with a power bank. This one came in a nice little sleeve, so I just pop it in its sleeve and it keeps it nice and safe. But I'll recommend getting the Omaker one. That's the one we're using at the moment, just because the charge does last really, really long, and you can usually get about 3 or 4 full phone charges out of this one. So this is the one we got, but anyone will do. But I would recommend bringing one of these out to Australia. So the next thing is actually a little bit different. So with your phone chargers, I would recommend getting a 2-meter phone charger cable, just because when you're staying in hostels, and if you're staying in a dorm and you've got the top bunk, they usually don't have an extension cord up to the top bunk. So if you have a 2-meter phone cable, you can usually just plug it in and it will reach up to your top bunk, and it just makes life a lot easier. So if you are staying in any room and the chargers or the power point is a little bit further away, then a 2-meter phone charger usually does give you the ability to plug it in and use your phone when you're sitting down or lying in bed. Next thing I'd recommend is a small speaker. So they do come in really, really handy speakers. So if you are staying in a dorm and you want to listen to music with your friends, then definitely get one of these. This one is a Sony. I don't know the name of this one, but I will definitely find it out and put it in the on the description box below. It also has a little hand thing, so if you are walking around with it, you can't drop it. This one's really, really good. The sound comes out really, really well, but obviously if you have one at home, just bring that one. Just make sure it's not too big and not taking up too much room. So something we brought out which came in really, really handy is actually a pack of playing cards. So whether you do like to play cards or not is up to you. But yeah, these have come really in handy just for if we're chilling around, if there's a group of us just playing a game of cards. Also, if you are a drinker, there's a lot of drinking games. For example, Ring of Fire and stuff like that. So cards are really, really handy just to make friends and to keep the night going. So definitely get a pack of them if you are a card player. So the next one's a bit of a weird one, but if you do suffer from spots, you can get this either before or after you get to Australia again, but I would recommend using Sudocrem. So obviously you can spend a lot of money on getting quite expensive spot treatments, but I actually use Sudocrem. So if I find a spot coming the night before, just before I go to bed, I just put a little bit of Sudocrem on my spots, and by the next day they're usually dried out and they heal a lot. So Sudocrem doesn't cost anything and it is really, really good for spots. So if you do get spots, don't waste your money. Get a little bit of Sudocrem, see how it is. Obviously that works for me, but it is completely up to if it works for you guys, but it's always worth a try. And the next one is a bottle of Savlon. So you don't have to get Savlon, but we got Savlon before we got to Australia, just because antiseptic cream is really, really expensive in Australia, we found, and I'm so glad we bought some. So we bought a bottle of Savlon, which is just a bottle of antiseptic cream. So if you do cut yourself, just put a bit of the Savlon on the cut and it will just clean it out to make sure no infection gets into it. But I know there are a lot of brands out there that do antiseptic or disinfecting creams. So get yourself a bottle of antiseptic cream just to put in your little emergency bag or just in your rucksack if you're out and about. But I would advise getting that before you come to Australia, just because they are a little bit expensive in Australia. And for any of you that like to wear makeup, then what I would advise doing, I was quite a big makeup wearer before I came to Australia, but obviously I'm not going to bring my whole vanity kit. So what me and my mum decided to do is to buy a small makeup bag about this big, and I had to go and buy makeup that will fit in the bag, and I was only allowed to fill up that one bag. So it's really, really good just to buy a makeup bag and you're only allowed to fill it. You can get sets of 3, so you can get your highlighter, your bronzer and your blusher in like a pack of 3. I know Rimmel London do one, and there's a few other companies that do that as well. So definitely try and compact your makeup just because it's really, really handy. Also, another thing, if you do go into department stores and you go to Benefit and stuff like that, you can usually get small bottles of mascara, and they usually do like a travel kit for them, so they're really, really handy. But just make sure you only fill up a small makeup bag rather than going above and beyond and bringing out the biggest makeup bag, because it is just not necessary, especially when you're traveling, because you won't really be wearing makeup that much. It's on your special occasions. Last but not least, this is completely optional and it's completely up to you guys, but when we got to Australia, obviously Alex being a male, his hair grows a lot quicker and a lot longer than mine. So with me, I just usually cut my hair myself. It doesn't take 2 seconds. But for Alex, what we end up doing, we did go to a barber's and it was about $50 for like a trim, like a shave on the sides, and me and Alex were like, oh, we don't really want to spend that much. So what we did, we just went into a pharmacy and we just picked up some cheap clippers. I think we spent like $30, and I just clip his hair. So I cut his hair now, but after doing it after a year, I've started to learn how he likes his haircut, so I make it a lot better. But if you're a little bit risky, you want to just give it a try, if you are traveling with a male, then I would definitely recommend doing that, because you do save a lot of money. So yeah, barbers are really, really handy, but obviously that's once you get to Australia. That's not so much packing, but if you do have one in your home country, pack it and bring it along, because they do save you a lot of money. And guys, that's everything for part 2 of tips and tricks of packing. If you do have any questions about anything I have discussed in this video, please just put it down in the description box below and I'll try and answer them as quickly and efficiently as I can. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for all the support on these videos I'm putting up on YouTube. I'll be back next week with another video. I'm going to try and post every Thursday, so look out on Thursdays for my videos, and I'll be up next week with another video for you. Thank you so much for watching.